Yeah, hello guys, welcome back. This is the third unit in data manipulation in Pandas. So we will walk through the exercises in this unit, and we will try to cover up the fourth unit as well in a single video. Okay, so let's get started. So here we will be learning about setting and removing the indexes in data frame. Okay, so you can take a look at this code that I have written here, and so this statement will print the data frame temperatures data frame. And if you want to set any column as an index, we need to use set index and the column name, so which will convert that particular column into an index. So what is the advantage of setting an index in data frame? See, to access any particular row we have to use the index, right? So if you remember, we have been using zero, the numbers basically. Okay, so instead of that, I mean, you want to have some column as an index, like let's say something like you have a date column and you want to convert that as an index, and going forward, instead of using some number, you want to access a row using the date. Okay, so just like your dictionaries, okay, in the dictionaries we use keys, right, to access the value of it. So similarly, when you set a index, so we can use the value to access that entire row. It is very useful. Let's look into the other examples here. So in case if you want to reset it, we have to use reset it here. Okay, and when you do reset, it will not it will just remove the index. Okay, it will not do anything else. And if you do drop is equal to true, that means you are given the permission to drop that particular column. Okay, so you need to be a little careful about this guy over here. Okay, the reset underscore index and drop is equal to true. Okay, so that's about this exercise. Moving on, and here we will learn about subsetting with lock. Okay, lock function, LOC. See, if you want to access any rows in a data frame, we can use LOC function. Okay, so LOC of the index name we have to provide. Okay, and in case you don't know, I mean, you don't have any index already set, and if you want to use a regular numbers, then we need to use iLock. Okay, index location, which means okay iLOC. But here in this exercise, we have to use LOC for accessing cities here. So we have cities as a list: Moscow and Saint Petersburg. Okay, so that's about this exercise, guys. This is a pretty simple one. And let's move on to the next one, setting multi-level indexes. Okay, so let's say something like you configured, you can see in the line number 2, right? So in the previous example we have set only one column as an index, but in some cases you might want to set two columns as an index. Let's say something like, best example is this one only. You have a country column and city column, and you want index in combination of both, that means country and city. Okay, so we can use something like this. The syntax is like this. Okay, and now you want to access get the rows of Brazil country, and the state should be Rio. Okay, only those data you want from Brazil, and other states you are not interested. And similarly, you want data, I mean, rows from Pakistan, the state is Lahore. Okay, not other any other states. Okay, so in that case we can do something like this. So you can define a list here, and the list of tuples over here. The tuple will contain two values: one the country, other will be the city. Okay, so you can apply this for your example as well. So let's move on to the next exercise. So here sorting by index values. Okay, so you might remember how do we sort using a value. So we have sort values function. Okay, we can sort based on the value of a data frame. But in case if you want to sort your data frame using index, so we can use a sort index function here. And here you can see here, so if you have more than one value, you can pass that particular column name. See, let's say something like you have a data frame and you have more than one column as an index. In this case, we have to mention the level basically. Okay, level is equal to that, and even the order as well we can specify, just like your regular sort values function. And moving on, I mean, they have a short video regarding slicing and subsetting with the LOC and ILOC. So we are going to skip it. And in the next exercise, they have this slicing index values. Okay, so let's say something like you want to slice the data frame using the index. So you might be knowing, right, the slicing of a list. So in that case, what do we use? We use the index, I mean regular index 0 to n minus 1, right? So similarly, we can use index value to slice a data frame here. And before that, we have to do one thing. We have to sort the index, I mean sort the data frame using the index. Then only we will be able to slice using the index values. Okay, so that's the reason in the first line of code we have sorted the temperatures data frame, and then you see here we are slicing, I mean subsetting temperature underscore SRT data frame here. So we are going to get the data starting from Pakistan to Russia. So only we need the data in between that. Okay, and similarly on state column also we are filtering where we want data from Lahore to Moscow. Okay, so let's say something like you want multiple, I mean multiple levels one, then something like this: Pakistan comma Lahore, that means only that range, and to Russia to Moscow. So that's how you do it, multi-level slicing. Let's move on. See, I mean once again, if you have any questions, please let us know in the comment section. I mean we'll try to answer them. So moving on, slicing in the both directions basically. Okay, so that's about this exercise. And again, so if you see here in the first line of code, we are pulling the data from India and state is Hyderabad to Iraq and Baghdad. And in the next one, see, slicing both directions means we want to slice the rows and columns as well. Okay, so if you take the look at the example of second one here, this one, so what we are doing is the first parameter is only the colon. Okay, so that means all the rows you want, and next one will be the column. So in this one we given date to average temperature. That means starting from column date to average temperatures we want to pull out. Okay, so that's about like slicing both directions. See, here we have a proper syntax. So for rows we want India and Hyderabad states, and two uh, Iraq and Baghdad. And which rows, I mean which columns we want? We want starting from date to average temperature. Okay, so that's about this guy particular guy. You can run the code and then I can show you that. See here, see, we only got these two columns. Okay, date and average. And whereas in the rows we got country India and city only Hyderabad. You won't see any other states here, because we specifically mentioned that we want only Hyderabad. Okay, not any other city till Iraq. That's how it is. Moving on, so here slicing the time series. Okay, so this is a very interesting one. I would say I really liked it, this one. Okay, so let's say you have a data frame, and in the data frame you have a column with some date in it, though it is in a string format. Okay, see here, the first one, you might be knowing about this one, right? So this is a regular conditional condition here. So that means we want to split the data frame. We want only the dates, temperatures, which date is greater than 2010 0101, and which is less than or equal to 2011 and 1231. So we are just filtering out the data based on this condition. And going on, I mean we set the index as a date. Okay, and then finally we are subsetting it, I mean slicing it using the date. Okay, directly we are using 2010 to this one. So you can see the output here. So let me show you. See, in the final print statement you will only see values from 2010 to 2011. Okay, see here. So this is where we have it. Okay, so total we got 700 rows. So that's how you do it. I mean, let's move on to the next exercise. And yeah, see here. So this is what I was talking about. iloc. Iloc is basically your actual index location, which is your numerical values, right? Default ones. So if you want to slice based on that, you can use iloc method, and it will also take two parameters. Okay, so this is for 20 second. Okay, 20 second row, and the first one means 1 plus 1, right? So second column. So this will be like your 23rd row and second column. And here you give something like colon 5. That means you want all the first 5 rows of your data frame. And similarly, you have a colon, I mean, without any values. That means all the rows. And coming to the columns 2 and 3. Okay, that means 3 and 4. So that's about that. And moving on, here we have given both the values here. So starting, I mean, first 5 rows and then 2, 3, 4 rows. Okay, so you want to see, we can execute and then see the values here. Okay, so that's about the last print statement we have. So we mentioned 0 to 5, right? So that's why we got from 0 to 4 only. And row, I mean, columns as well, country and average temperature. Yeah, moving on, I mean, they have a short video about working with pivot tables. This is a pretty good one. I mean, I would recommend you to go through it. And let's move on to the exercise. So in this exercise, again, I mean, we have already seen the pivot tables in the previous exercises. Okay, so which is pretty good. And let's see this one. And here, so this feature is, I mean, I really liked it actually. So you, let's say you have a column with some data uh, values in it, and if you want to actually pull out only the year or day or month, okay, we need not to use any special function to convert that value into a date format. Okay, directly we can use dt attribute here, so which will convert this. I mean, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's take this guy. Okay, let's print out this. See here, I mean, in the date we have these values here, right? And let's say you want only pull out the year here. Okay, so in this case we can just do dt dot year. See here, you will get only the years. And in case if you want the month, we can do that as well. See, you will get the month of that particular column. Okay, so moving on to the next instruction here. So pivot average temperature by country and city versus year. Okay, so that's what they have. So we want the values of average temperature, and we are going to operate on column year, and the index should be on country and year. Sorry, country and city. Okay, so that is what we have done here. So that's about this exercise. And moving on, so here we'll learn about subsetting pivot tables. So in the subsetting pivot tables, so this is also this is a pretty straightforward. I mean, if you have completed your previous exercise, you will be able to do it without any issues here. See, I mean, directly we are just using the log method here. Okay, LOC to subsetting our data frame. There is no special about it in this exercise. Okay, so I hope you understand that. Let's move on to the next exercise. And here actually, so this is a pretty interesting one. So if you want to calculate the mean temperature for each year, okay, so this is how you do it. So axis dot mean, and axis direction is the index. Okay, so what it will do is it will calculate the. Let me show you this. Okay, so instead of talking about this one, so let's head. Okay, so there are many actually here. Okay, values. You have year as a row. I mean, sorry, column. Okay, and country and city is a index. And when you do we're going to calculate the mean, okay, based on the index here. So when we do that, so what we are doing, we are combining for all the cities, and that means we will get the values for each year here. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So similarly, we assign that to this new variable here, and here again we are doing another one. I mean, we are comparing this with maximum value. Wherever it is a maximum, only that particular row we want to print out here. And similarly, we are calculating the mean in the axis of columns. Okay, so that means this is the reverse of this one. So here we have for each year, right? And in this case, we will have for each state. So let me show that what I'm talking about. See here, United States, Chicago. So this is what. So when you mention axis, okay, axis will take the row or the column. Okay, so if you mention that in that direction, the calculation will happen. And finally, we have similar operation like this one. So, but here we are only trying to pull out the minimum values of it. Okay, so let me run this and then show you. This is a pretty good exercise, I would say. Okay, see, the length is what happened. Yeah, I think I yeah. So that's about this exercise, guys. I mean, let's move on. Yeah, now we come to the last unit of this course, which is data manipulation with Python, and here we will learn about visualizing your data using Pandas. Okay, so they have a short video. I'm going to just skip it. So here, I mean, basically, if you want to plot anything in Python, I mean, using Pandas, we have to import one more library called Matplotlib, and this is the regular, I mean, recommended syntax for importing pyplot. Okay, so you have to be using as PLT because we don't want to use pyplot every time, right? So which is very long. So that's what here, and the plotting is pretty straightforward, I would say. So this is like grouping the data by size, and we are operating on NB sold, I mean, number of items sold, and we are summing that entire value, and finally we are plotting a bar chart here. Okay, so let's run and see how exactly this looks like. See here. So what did we do? We group the data using the size. Okay, so because of that, when you plot it, and you will get the values here. So that means seems like large and small type of items are sold very much. Okay, not the extra large ones. Okay, that means people are getting pretty small or tiny, I would say. Okay, moving on. Here also, I mean, in case if you want to plot a line chart, we just need to change this parameter from the previous example. So there we used kind is equal to bar. Right here the kind type will be the line. Okay, so when you mention that, we'll get the plot automatically. We need to remember one thing is we have to have this plt dot show, otherwise the chart will not come up. Even if you're trying out in your Jupyter notebook on your local system, remember this particular statement. Okay, otherwise your chart will not come up. Let me show the output of this one. See, okay, so this is how it is. This is basically based on the date here. So I mean, how many items we sold on a particular day. Okay, so these values are overlapping here. That's completely fine, but yeah, you can see it here. So this is the actual, it looks like a stock market event. Let's move on to the next exercise. So here we will see the scatter plot, and we will also see how to set the title for the plot. So if you want to set any title, we just need to use another title parameter and then and some text to it. And if you want to mention any text to x-axis and y-axis, we need to give it like something like this. Okay, so let's run this guy. Huh. title is not defined, it is saying. I don't know what happens, but generally when I submitted this has worked. But let me show you. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the title, okay, on the top of this plot, and x-axis and y-axis here. Let's move on to the next exercise. So in this exercise, we are going to deal with, we are going to identify the price of conventional and organic products. Okay. So this is the one, the first plot is a histogram, and here we want to plot the average price of conventional products. And in the second plot, we have the organic products average price. And we set the legend for this plot, conventional organic. Okay, so you can see this. So this is how it will come. And they have one more instruction. And here, if you set this alpha is equal to 10, right? So the whatever the overlapping one will get disappeared. Let me show that as well. See, we will see only the overlapping parts of the plot, and the other things will not be highlighted. And there is one more instruction finally. So here, if you want to limit this bar, histogram to 20 bins, you see the count here, right? So you just want to limit that to any number. We can mention that here. Okay, so that's about that. And let's move on to the next exercise. And here they have a short video about missing values. How do we deal with missing values in a data frame? Okay, we are going to skip this video. And let's say something like the first statement will be to check if there are any null values in a data frame. We can use this is in here. So what it will do is it will tell you, if there is any null value in that particular column. Let me run and show you. Okay, it's drawn also. So you can go through this each and every line of this code here. Okay, so but in this plot it is very clear that this small sold and large sold and excel sold have some null values, and the number will be something like this, which has a 6 and yeah, 5 missing values, and for excel sold there are 4 missing values. Okay, so that's about this exercise. Okay, this is also a pretty good one. And how do we remove the missing values? So in that case we can use this drop in it. Okay, so we need to be a little careful about this because it is going to remove the rows with the missing values. And here again we are plotting for the missing columns with missing. Okay, and again we are doing the same thing here, the first instruction of this exercise, which is replacing missing values. And if you go to the next second instruction of this one, and in case if you have any missing values and you don't want to drop it but you want to fill some value, okay, so you can use fill NA. And generally people do 0 here, but otherwise you can calculate mean or median, and you can assign that value to the missing cells. Okay, so that's about this. Yeah, so in case you want to see the overlapping part as well, you can mention that alpha is equal to 0.5. Okay, so again we have come to the end of this course. There is only one section is pending, which is loading, creating data frames. Okay, so they have a short video about that. The first thing is how do we create data frame out of a list. So how do we do it? So first of all, you can have a dictionary. Okay, and we can directly convert that dictionary using pd.data frame, something like this. So pd.data data frame, and we can pass the dictionary here. Okay, so we just need to fill in these values based on this one here. So this is straightforward one. I have already completed this one. I don't know why the exercise is missing here. See here, so this is the other way around. So the dictionary is, it's a dictionary, single dictionary. So previous example we had a list of dictionaries. Here it's a single dictionary. That means for each column we have one entry in the dictionary, and as I was saying, pd.data frame we have to use, and parameter will be the dictionary that we created here. Okay, so if you run this one, it will convert this thing into a data frame. Okay, avocado is not defined, it is defined here, right? So it is, yeah, something like this. So this is also a straightforward exercise. And now they have a short video about reading and writing to CSV files. Let's skip that. And here, if you want to create a data frame out of a CSV file, so this is the syntax. This is pretty straightforward. We just need to use pd.read CSV, and whatever the CSV file you want to read, it will convert it. And they have a few more instructions here. And if you want to see the head, these are all like regular functions that we have already done in our previous exercises. Okay, grouping by and all these things. Let's move on to the next instruction. And here, okay, so you can take a look at these ones. So this might be a little tricky. I mean, the formula might be a little tricky for someone. So yeah, and final instruction in this CSV to data frame exercise, this is the one. This is all about manipulating uh, the rows, I mean the cells in a data frame basically. Okay, so let's move on to the next exercise. And we have seen how to read data from CSV file, right? So in this exercise we will see how to write to a CSV file, okay, from your program to CSV file. So for that, so this is the function that we need to use to CSV. So this is also pretty straightforward. So finally they have a final wrap up video. I mean after this course, what we can do and done. So congratulations guys, I mean we are done with this data manipulation with the Pandas course. And overall, I mean I'm pretty satisfied with this course. However, we need to do little practice on Pandas. So they have one sample project, so I'm trying to do that. So once I'm done with that, I will create another video of that project walkthrough. But till then, I mean take care guys, and happy learning. And as I said, if you have any questions, please mention in the comment section below, and don't forget to our subscribe to our YouTube channel, and see you again.